am absolutely don't know nothing about. And they framed me.
In the tumultuous tale of Mark Heath Lloyd, a man whose life took a dark turn, leaving a trail of tragedy in his wake, it all began with a turbulent relationship with his ex-girlfriend, Chard Dixon. Chard found herself pregnant with Lloyd's child, but conflicted about the prospect of motherhood. In a fateful encounter at Chard's home, emotions escalated, and Lloyd's desperate attempts to persuade her to keep the baby took a sinister turn. The heated argument led to an aggressive confrontation, during which Chardith, in a moment of desperation, brandished a firearm. In a shocking twist, Lloyd managed to disarm her and, tragically, ended both Chard's life and that of their unborn child. The authorities swiftly launched a manhunt for Mark Heath Lloyd, circulating his image on flyers and television broadcasts. It wasn't long before a vigilant shopper spotted him in a Walmart, prompting a call to the police. The response was led by Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton, who arrived on the scene with the intention to apprehend Lloyd. However, what followed was a tragic turn of events. Lloyd, unwilling to face the consequences, engaged in a fatal shootout with Lieutenant Clayton, ultimately claiming her life. In the aftermath, Lloyd managed to evade capture for a brief period, sparking a 9-day manhunt that gripped the community. Finally cornered by law enforcement, Lloyd's arrest was not without further incident. During the confrontation, he suffered the loss of his left eye, a grim consequence of his resistance. As the case unfolded in court, Mark Heath Lloyd, now facing the most serious of charges, vehemently proclaimed his innocence. He insisted he was framed and that a conspiracy against him existed, despite the undeniable fact that his actions had resulted in the tragic loss of 3 lives. The courtroom drama unfolded as the jury, unmoved by Lloyd's protests, delivered a guilty verdict. Mark Heath Lloyd, once a wild-eyed man entangled in a web of crime, was sentenced to the gravest punishment, death. Despite his outbursts and claims of victimhood, justice prevailed, and the community began to heal from the scars left by his actions.
Unanimously find that the defendant, Mark Heath Lloyd, should be sentenced to death.
Meet Michael Brady, a man whose dark journey unfolded within the confines of the Pasco Tank Correctional Institution in North Carolina, leaving a trail of tragedy and horror in his wake. Brady, initially facing a 24-year prison sentence for attempting to murder a North Carolina state trooper, saw his story take a chilling turn 4 years into his sentence. In a shocking act of violence, Brady, alongside 3 other inmates, unleashed a brutal assault within the prison walls. Armed with hammers and scissors, they ruthlessly took the lives of 4 prison workers, leaving a scene reminiscent of a nightmare. Witnesses described Brady's relentless attack on one victim, Jeffrey Howe, struck 8 times until movement ceased, a grisly act that sent shockwaves through the institution. Attempting to escape the consequences of their heinous acts, Brady and his accomplices set their sights on freedom. However, their plan faltered as they struggled to breach the towering prison fence. In a desperate attempt to evade justice, Brady's flight was short-lived, as he was apprehended at gunpoint. The narrative of Michael Brady takes a chilling turn as he faces trial for his role in the prison massacre. In a disturbing display of apathy, Brady showed no remorse for the lives he had taken. His actions in court painted a haunting picture. As the verdict of death penalty was handed down, what stood out was Brady's cold and emotionless demeanor, a disturbing contrast to the gravity of the crimes he committed. It becomes increasingly apparent that Michael Brady, sentenced to a life behind bars for shooting a highway patrolman, holds a disturbing disregard for a human life, including his own. The courtroom spectacle, marked by Brady's eerie lack of emotion, leaves an indelible impression on those who bear witness to the unnerving saga of a man who seemed to value life so little, not even his own.